Hey y'all, this is Systemshark bringing to you another audio commentary for WCReplays.com. This audio commentary is copyrighted 2006, WCReplays.com, so don't go stealing it. Alright guys, got a new AC for you this week. It's another one that's not an average show replay. Go ahead and get the replay synced up at 2-minute mark at 1x speed. Took Fog of War off, and I'm going to be looking at the undead perspective, I guess, starting out. Point some things out, but you can look at whoever you want, I guess. Just listen to me talk and maybe direct you where the action's at. I'm trying a new thing right now. I'm going to be listening to music like in my headset while I'm doing this audio commentary to try to get into some different world or whatever. We'll see how it works. Anyway, enough talking. I hate talking. I guess that was a bad thing to do to become an audio commentator, right? No, I'm kidding. Alright guys, get it synced up. 2-minute mark, 1x speed. Fog of War off. Gonna count down 5 seconds. If you're not there, just pause this replay here and get it synced up. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Alright, we're on pause now, and both players have pretty much just scouted out each other right now. The Night Elf sent the Wisp out, and the Undead sent an Acolyte. And the Undead has found out that the Night Elf player has gone for the Keeper of the Grove. Night Elf has probably just assumed that he's going to be up against Death Knight because he brought his Wisp out before the Death Knight was out, seeming that he was a little bit later coming out than Keeper of the Grove. And the Acolyte went down to the Keeper of the Grove and Entangle, so now the Undead knows that he's going to be up against Entangle, and he's going to be up against the Keeper of the Grove, so that's a few things that he gets to worry about. So Keeper of the Grove now heading directly to the Undead base, having scouted out with his Wisp, and he's going to try to not necessarily go in there for some Acolyte kills, but he's actually just trying to keep tabs on the Undead player. He doesn't want to let him creep freely. And also this will let him know if he's going against Fiends or he's going to go against Ghouls. And right off the bat he's going to see an abnormally large amount of Ghouls early, so he knows Fiends are probably not going to be part of the picture. So he can stick with his hunt build and not have to worry about them dying easily to the piercing damage of the hunts. You notice he's keeping his Keeper around, and he's just trying to get the last hit on the creeps. And right there, he actually just got the last hit on one of the lower level turtles there, stealing some experience and gold from the Undead player while he's creeping. Definitely a good move. He's using his Entangle on Ghouls and basically forcing the Undead player to use Coil to save them. He's not necessarily trying to get any huge kills here. If he's lucky, he'll get one, but he's basically just trying to make the Undead player waste his mana on coils, so he's not able to do it as effectively against his units later on. So I guess it's another way that the Night Elf players can mana burn himself, or mana burn the Undead player by forcing him to coil to save his low HP ghouls. He's still sticking around, trying to just maybe pick off a skeleton here. Again, he actually got the level 4, the higher level turtle off that camp that the Undead was creeping. Notice his hero level, he's 75% or so the way to level 2, keeping right up there in the same levels as the Death Knight. At this point in the game, he's bringing his hunts along for the ride. He doesn't want his Undead player to just creep freely, although he did just get 2 green camps. He did a very good job kind of keeping the Undead player down. This isn't the point of the game where he wants to come in and harass too much. He doesn't have enough forces to really go in there and beat a whole bunch of ghouls in a frost tower. But it's actually really good timing for him to do that because the Undead is halfway through teching, and any Acolytes that he was going to be able to kill would kind of put a hindrance on the Undead's economy. He'd either have to stop teching or continue teching and lose all the gold production that he'd get from whatever Acolytes are gone from the gold mine. So now Undead player saying, I'm not going to lose any more ghouls. It's going to be hard for me to creep. I'm going to try a little bit of harassment of my own. So he goes and buys a Staff of Teleportation from the Goblin shop. It's a little past fourth dot or whatever on nighttime. Actually, game time now says 22 to 23 minutes into the game. So he buys the staff. Unfortunately, the Night Elf player does a pretty good job of his base placement here, and the Wisps are pretty protected by the Moonwells. If any of them were to take any damage from the Death Knight, he'd quickly use a Moonwell to heal him up. And the Death Knight realizes it's going to be a little bit difficult to get in there and do any type of harassment, but he's not giving up yet. He's trying to basically find out where those hunts went. He didn't see all the hunts, and he's figuring maybe he can catch the Night Elf trying to either fast expand, or not necessarily fast expand, just get an expansion off, or use his hunts to creep while he's doing the harassing. So right now, the Night Elf player just going into his base to try to do that harass while the tech was going on, but he noticed that the tech just finished, and he says, well, now it's kind of pointless for me to go in there and take heavy losses, because now the undead players can be able to remake his acolytes relatively easily. So he's going back in now. Undead player, again, sticking with that harassing idea, using his staff of teleportation. However, he's going to get intercepted by a whole bunch of hunts and the Keeper of the Grove not coming back to stop this undead from harassing any type of the wisps. So he backs off now, and he's this is some staff of teleportation uses here. You notice he didn't use it right away. He waited until after the Night Elf player actually used the Entangle. If he had used his staff of teleportation quickly and got out of there, the Keeper of the Grove's Entangle would have actually canceled it. Now, I actually found out through some testing that if you use your staff of teleportation during the Entangle, it'll still go off. But if you use the staff first and then get entangled, it cancels it. So really good job canceling it right there, or staff usage, not get it canceled actually. Bad job for the Night Elf, good job for the undead. Blah blah blah. All right, now it's ghoul garg time. This is a really popular strategy that a lot of the undead players are typically going versus Night Elf now. This gives them ghouls early to beat archers, and they actually fare pretty well versus huntresses. But the gargs are supposedly there to actually counter the huntresses, and also really good harassing here. You're going to notice bringing his gargs immediately to try to harass the wood wisps. This does two things. Basically, hurts the lumber gain of the Night Elf player. This is going to force him to basically stay in tier 2 for longer than he really wants to. Night Elf player has hired the Goblin Alchemist. Kind of a strange choice, but something interesting. Kind of veers away from the cookie cutter. And it's actually a really good counter to a lot of the undead strategies, especially this ghoul garg strategy. Berserker Rage just really makes the Alchemist a really killer tank. He does a lot of damage, and Acid Bomb is pretty good damage for what it is. It could do a lot of nuking. Not a lot of nuking, but it's given a little bit of nuking versus low HP units. It's got a really crazy range on it, as you'll see in time. He's going to be able to cast it and get kills on a bunch of units. Also, slowly damages off these low HP ghouls and gargs. Again, this Night Elf player going in for another little bit of a hit, but he notices all the gargs coming flying overhead and going to his base. He realizes, I can't afford to lose my tier 2 buildings that are under construction. I have to go back and defend against these gargs. Gargs are quicker, and they had a little bit of a head start, so they're going to actually catch up and meet to the Night Elf base right while these Ancients of War are coming up. They're going to come back and actually take out one of those under construction, which is a really good move. Notice there's actually a shade running around for the undead right now, and the Night Elf player saw that sacrificial pit, so he knew that there was a shade possibility. Definitely should have invested in some dust. There's a few times in this game where the undead's able to creep freely because he knows that the undead is either sitting in his base or really far away from the creeping spots. He knows he's where his opponent's at. It's free map pack, and shades are just cheap for what they are, and being able to see where your opponent's at is awesome. Alright, now watch this in the Night Elf base. This is some really good garg usage as far as harassing. He's not trying to target that Ancient Protector because he knows he's going to be able to get healed by the wisps or be able to uproot real quick and eat a tree to kit life. It's not that big of a threat to him right now. He's able to micro out his gargs before they die. He's doing a really good job. He hasn't lost the garg yet. A lot of them are getting close, but he hasn't lost them. And he's taken out a lot of wisps. And this is, again, forcing that Night Elf player to stay in his base and to stay in tier 2. All the while, he's teching to tier 3. He's about 20% now teching to tier 3. This is going to give him a tech advantage and also keep his opponent making these low HP tier 1 units that his tier 3 units are going to be able to eat up. But he's got to keep the pressure on using his ghouls, and right now he's just kind of flying around, deciding what he wants to do. Actually healing up a few of them with his Death Coil, because I don't think Stone Form has been researched just now. But it's getting there. I know he uses it eventually, and you'll see some good Stone Form usage to quickly regen his gargoyles. At this point, again, this is that Shade I was talking about. Shade's sitting there right on the Night Elf base, and the Night Elf is too scared to leave, so he wants to wait until that second Ancient Protector is up, stop any gargoyle harassment. But the Shade's there, he knows the Night Elf is just sitting in his base, and he's able to creep this turtle camp, this higher level turtle camp right outside his base, and he's able to do it letting his Death Knight take all the heavy hits because he knows he's not in any trouble from getting creep jacked by the Night Elf player. So he'll let the Death Knight take all the hits. Now the Gargoyle's doing a real good job taking out that gargantuan sea turtle. Sorry, I got a little bit of scratchy throat today. Shades are so awesome, man. If you're an undead player and you're like average skill level, maybe at the higher level play, those players can just kind of know instinctively through all the games that they played where their opponents are going to be and they don't need shades, but through average level play, shades are so awesome. They're better than wards. They're movable wards. See invisible. I mean, you're right on top of your opponent. There's really, really great units. Very underused, I think, in average level play. And also now he knows that the undead player is creeping a hard level camp, so now he knows it's a good time to bring his gargs back in. I mean, Shades have single-handedly made like 4 or 5 really good decisions happen in favor for this, for the undead player here. Again, he's targeting these wood wisps. The Night Elf player has still not teched to tier 3, and then being stuck here in tier 2, just losing all his wood wisps. As the Night Elf player is doing a good job of moving around, he's still losing a lot of them. The gargoyles have their 1 damage upgrade, so they're going to be dropping those wisps really quick. Wisps only have 120 HP, so that's all you Night Elf player knows. They're going to go down quick to almost any time of fire, let alone one of damage upgraded gargoyles doing really good damage, taking them out. But you definitely want to try to micro them out. Don't just give them free kills. Your Ancient Protectors will eventually make them back off, if only for a little while. Just kind of move your wisps around. I've seen some players try to micro them in and out of their entangled gold mine. Use your moonwells, again, heal them up. At this point, the undead player actually has a good amount of money he's trying to save up now. He's waiting until he hits, as soon as he hits tier 3, and he's actually going to save up a lot of gold. I'll tell you right now, it's going to be close to 2,000 gold before he really tries to break his no upkeep cap. And this is a really good strategy for him. He's trying to gather as much gold as he can because he knows he's not going to be expanding. And he's going to have a tech advantage here, but not necessarily an economic advantage. And at the moment, he's getting beat out in the army size. Night Elf has got a bigger army size than him, and starting to bring in some tier 2 units. Got some Dryads in the mix, but he's really beat out. That's a lot of units for the undead to be able to beat. And right now, all he has are these gargs to really take anything out. So he's got to keep the harassment on. As soon as he sees the Night Elf TPing in, he knows, hey, I did my job, I forced the TP, I stopped this Night Elf player from doing whatever he was doing, and it's just basically a waiting game. He's trying to keeping tabs on his opponent, but more so he's just trying to keep his opponent busy and not give him free levels on his heroes, although the Night Elf player has been able to creep really good. He's got level 3 on both his heroes. Really, really good there. And he's Stormform, again, researched here, and he's completed Disease Cloud for his impending units that are coming. He's getting Destroyer Form researched. He's ready to burst out of, he's going to get ready soon here, the undead player, to burst out of this no upkeep. I'll show you a little trick as soon as he gets out of it. I'll tell you guys about it as soon as he hits that. A little bit of downtime now. Both players just trying to figure out what the other player is doing. Undead player going to bring his gargs back in again. Keeping the Night Elf player in his base and delaying the wood production for the Night Elf player. Actually, gold production's really low too. I guess he's been spending his gold on the tier 1 units. But Night Elf player probably in this game should have maybe moved his wisp to a completely off location. Since Night Elf wisps can mine lumber from anywhere, just put them somewhere else. Put them abstract locations throughout the map, and would have to not worry about these gargoyle harassment. There's a little island here if you want to watch the undead perspective on the gargoyles on the south there towards the Night Elf base. He's going to be able to use Stone Form and regen his gargs and still stay really close to the Night Elf base. Just constantly be going in and out, harassing that Night Elf base, and basically keep making him make those whiffs. Like I was saying all game, he's just keeping the tabs on him and keeping the Night Elf player down. Night Elf player realizes that his towers are doing an okay job of protecting his wisps, but he doesn't want to stay in his base for all this game. And he probably should have put pressure on a little bit earlier than this, but right now he's just creeping again, try to get any type of hero advantage, because that's pretty much all he has now. Undead player just leaving his deathline in the base at the moment. He's still saving up all his gold. Again, really doesn't want to break into low upkeep and have to pay basically taxes on his gold and lumber that's coming up here. No player just finished creeping out the Overlord camp and got some nice items. He actually got a Legion Dune Horn, and that's going to give Unholy Aura for all his low units. If you're going to have a huge tier 1 army, auras are so awesome to help him out. He's actually got Lion Horn Stormwind too, so there you go. He's got Devotion Aura and Unholy Aura level 1 on his units here. It's definitely going to help when big battles start to come. More good shade uses. He's actually following this archer that just came out of the Night Elf base to find out where the whole Night Elf army is, because he hasn't seen him in a little while. But he knows in the direction the archer's going that he's going to be able to